We've got one of the most one-sided contests coming up in AFL round 12. What are we going to do with the Sydney Swans at $1.02? We'll get to that soon. Let's talk about the Tigers first. What a win it was last week, taking out Essendon in the Dreamtime at the G. Essendon, they are struggling. They've sacked their coach, Brad Scott, since then. They had a few injuries on the night, but the Tigers, just with their list, absolutely ravaged by injury. Only had 4 listed senior players playing VFL last weekend, 0 the week before. And to knock over Essendon in front of a large crowd at the MCG by 18 points is a great performance. But that is in the past. This week, brutal reality check coming up. The Swans are on the rebound. They'll be pumped up for a big one back at the SCG. The market tells a story. The Swans $1.02. What do we do with that? Unbackable. Look, normally I'm not always keen to look into the lines with these big margins coming up, but sometimes the better side gets dragged down to the other side's standard. But honestly, Sydney can win this by 10 goals plus. Small sample size, but against bottom 5 sides this year, they smashed Carlton by 62 at the SCG. They knocked over West Coast by 128. When they get rolling, they absolutely bury teams. The two keys here will be accuracy in front of goal, and at the other end, just their ability to restrict Richmond's scoring. Just in terms of their own accuracy, Swans have posted big totals all season, unbeaten at the SCG, averaging 111 points per game. And that average came down a little bit against Collingwood. Swans were inaccurate that night. Collingwood, one of the better defensive sides, but the ball movement is going to be a huge factor here. It's going to be difficult for a Richmond depleted side to stop that quick run and gun. Blokes like Nick Blarkey in action. He'll open the ground up, and you've got tall targets everywhere. Joel Amati, Charlie Curnow, Logan McDonald's. The Tigers will not be able to cover all 3 of those. They might stop one, but they're not going to stop all 3. And you've got those ground level players too swarming at their feet as well. I think Sydney are going to get some clean entries. They're going to go deep and get a few easy goals, and that will open up the margin. The other one, Richmond scoring, kicked just 4 goals against the Swans the last time the two sides played. They're lowest in the comp for scoring, just 66 points per game. If you break that down to the sides they've played in the top 10 this year, they're averaging just 54. That's a strong recipe for Sydney to, I reckon, to score 120 plus in this match, and Richmond to be held around that 50 mark. So take the Swans to cover that 60-point margin, which is what it's been set for the line in most markets. Just in terms of some player props, pretty keen on both Joel Amati and Charlie Curnow. Look really strong for multiple goals. Looking at 3+ for both. Amati kicked 4 against Geelong last week. Curnow's form against sides outside of the top 10, he's beaten up on them. He's been a bit inconsistent this year, but against the bottom 10 sides, I should say, he's kicked 17 goals in 4 matches. Really like him for 3+ there. Richmond fans, Tim Taranto, he's had 25+. He got 30 last week against the Bombers, 25+ in his past 2 of his past 3, and he's done that against Sydney in his last few times he's played them. So he might be one for Tigers fans to take in player props, 25+ disposals. Just before I go, how good was round 11? You've got to be right into it at the moment. That comeback from the Suns. GWS 14 goals in a quarter. Pendlebury's milestone. Can the Giants do it again? They take on Melbourne this weekend. You can catch all of our previews. Don't forget to give us a follow to check those out, and give us a comment. How much do you think the Swans will win by, or do you think the Tigers in for a shock upset? Good luck, Tigers fans. Good luck, Swans fans.